Hello, welcome back to another episode of D54. I'm Amit, joined by Doug. Welcome, Doug.
Hey, everybody. Sorry I've been gone so long. It's been holidays here in America. It's been wild, but I'm glad to be back.
Thanksgiving, then Christmas, basically. That's sort of what's
Thanksgiving,
happening.
lots of different Christmases, travel, all that kind of stuff. Put it together. So it's never been far from my heart. I've been in constant communication with Amit. It was
Yes.
only a matter of time before I was going to be back, and here I am. And I'm really excited to be back. And Amit, how you doing, man? You been good?
No, I've been good, man. I've been pretty good. It's festive season here is probably not as busy as it is for you guys because there's no we don't have Thanksgiving here, so it's really just Christmas. Like things wind down, but there's no like extended. Like in America, it feels like Thanksgiving/Christmas is almost like a big sort of end of year holiday.
Yeah, it's just a ramp up. It like literally just from the Thanksgiving time, it is just this steady incline of things all the way in through to New Year, and then we finally get the reprieve.
Correct.
But here in Michigan, then it's just the really long part of winter because holidays here in the winter are meant to be like, oh, it's merry and bright and everything is wonderful and look at the lights everywhere. And then everyone takes them down after the new year and just, boy, I hope you like cold and I hope you like dark because you got about 4 more months of it.
Yeah, not pleasant. Pretty similar to Melbourne in the winter too. But hey, we got a pretty special episode. Well, not as cold though. I should correct that. But I will say we have a pretty special episode today, guys, because we're doing an end of year wrap. This whole week or however long we're going to do this for is going to be end of year kind of stuff. So no better place to start it than here. Doug, this is your first year of watching Malayalam cinema.
Yeah, it feels like I just started yesterday, but it's been a whole year.
Been a whole year. So it's only been a year, to be honest. The first movie you watched, the grand introduction of Doug, was March 30th with Drishyam. Pretty great way to start. But let me just list off the movies that you watched so far to take a trip down memory lane for you guys.
And just watch
Drishyam.
my face.
yeah. Drishyam 2. Joji. Whoa, boy. Yeah. Mukundan Uni Associates. Wow. Nantan Keskoru, which was, the first Sunny, Doug, and Amit collaboration.
Fantastic. It was spectacular.
Then
give me some pigeons, give me some doves.
Can't forget that one. Mani Chitvatare, another crazy Mohanlal performance, iconic movie. Perambu, the first time you had seen Mammootty. Man, what a movie that was. Then, I don't know, this one's pretty special. Mahashinte, Pratakiram. Fantastic.
That's still like every single movie you've brought up thus far, not that I want to stop the steamroll, but it's just like I can viscerally get myself right back to the emotional state that I left the viewing in. That's exactly what's happening in my mind right now. Like every single one of them, I know exactly how I felt. And the spoilers, the common through line is wonderful and affected. But continue.
Yeah. Speaking of affected, Tan Matra. Yeah. That one was something else. Then Ima Yao, the ending. Can't forget that.
To this day.
Incredible. And then just to top that, if that's not any better, Angamali Diaries. Speaking of endings. And then to top that,
I forgot to tell you that I was talking with one of my cousins was dating somebody from, I didn't get a chance to see where in India specifically he was from, but he brought over mango lassi to one of our Thanksgivings.
Okay. That's funny.
To a Thanksgiving gathering. And I was like, have you ever heard of Angamali and mango curry? And he was like, no. But I was like, I'm telling you, man, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Angamali Diaries, I think lassi is more from the north, so it would have been from Punjab. Maybe it's a pretty common north drink, but it's all across India, and it's pretty.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to talk about movies, not somebody from India that was not interested in movies at all. So it was a bit of a letdown, but the mango lassi was wonderful.
It's pretty good. And then, of course, to end it, Jallikattu, another crazy ending. So that's basically our LJP phase, and that's sort of what we watched so far. So I get you to just reflect a little bit, man. Like, how's it, sort of been experiencing sort of this new industry, uncovering it one by one, the progression of sort of seeing it from sort of Drishyam and Drishyam 2 to sort of being some more commercial stuff to really being, fine-tuning it to sort of our LGP, Lijo's kind of work later on. Obviously, in between, we had ones like Mani Chitvatare, which was like taking us back and seeing the foundations. Perambu with Mammootty's masterclass there, Mahashinte with sort of the whole, like, the way they structure that movie. And obviously you had a common thread with Dilish Potan as well, with sort of seeing 2 of his movies. So yeah, man, I'll let you just go for it, man. What do you think? Like, how's it been?
I think you inadvertently or otherwise, we set the perfect bar for me to enter into the cinematic climate of Malayalam cinema and then also steamroll into it and become so ingratiated with it so quickly that I couldn't help but be charmed by it, be insatiable for it, and desire it more than almost anything coming out of Hollywood. And I have grown up with movies. They're in my DNA. It's in my blood. They are my comfort food. I love books. I love good stories. And I just got to a point where, especially with movies coming out of Hollywood this year, how many franchises are we going to reboot? How many sequels are we going to have? And even if we do have those things, what are the diminishing returns looking like as they're coming to me? These long franchises, where is the originality? Where is the true, genuine heart? How much CG is going to be in something? I'm all for it if it is in service of telling a very good story. Most of the time, with a lot of these sequels that are coming out and the fatigue we're experiencing in Hollywood, it's because we've already told the good story and now we're just grasping at the threads of what may have not been explored in that story, and it just falls flat a lot of the time. Here, beginning with Drishyam, I was like, oh. This is an industry that gets it. And breaking me in with absolutely one of the masterclass legend performers from the region with mohanlal was going to really get me there. But again, I'm a sucker for a mystery. I'm a sucker for a whodunit. I'm a sucker for a what is happening here. And that was the perfect entry point. But as we continued to go, then you hit me with a dark comedy. And then you hit me with a truly dark, dramatic masterpiece. And through the crests and waves of everything that we watched, it finally allowed us to get to something a little bit more heady, like Amashente, right? So that I had enough of an understanding of the culture, and I had seen enough of it in, I would say, more directly relatable American to Malayalam cinema comparison way. And that by the time we got to something like that is so heavily steeped in culture to the point where you're literally just looking at the year in the life of a very small village and something totally removed, right? Because if you did that in America, it would just be, I'm going to a strip mall today and I'm going to the grocery store tomorrow. And then I go to a strip mall today. And when I get home, I'm going to be on the internet. And then eventually I'll cook dinner and that's the end of my day, right? We're like culturally, we are in a different stratosphere. And the fact that all of these stories are told with so much pathos and every script is written to be so tight and every character has pathos and every moment counts and every single frame is dripping and oozing with a love of the craft, it was like coming up for fresh air. It was reigniting a passion for something that I had always had and started to not necessarily lose, but not necessarily reach for. Like, I can't trust this. So I'll go back to the movies of yesteryear. And that's not to say that I got like old man on a, yelling at cloud, or that I was getting like, get off my lawn. Like, these new movies don't know how to make it. It's just that there was a pattern I could not ignore. And that's that originality had fallen by the wayside of the continuation of intellectual property. And something like, and getting to the point where we did LJP, right? So we're seeing now, an auteur director from the region who has expressed so many different visions of storytelling and so many different contrivances for storytelling, and they're all so vastly different and so wonderful. And Dilish Potan, and like, to call it cataclysmic, to call it a shock to my system is not out of the realm of possibility. I fell head over heels in love. I don't know if you knew that I was going to just jump right in with both feet the way that I did and be absolutely stunned and want to keep doing it over and over and over again. But I'm glad that I did, because the best movie that I've seen from Hollywood all year is The Holdovers. And it's a small stakes story. Set in practical locations with amazing performances and great music and beautiful cinematography and a true dedication to the craft. And that sounds a lot like Malayalam cinema.
Yeah.
No wonder I loved it so much.
I've not seen The Holdovers. I've definitely got to check it out now.
It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. But to say that is to say that it basically just does what Malayalam cinema does so well.
Yeah, right. No, that's fantastic, and what a summation. No, this is. I mean, like, I'm reading like the movies you've seen. Like, guys, let me know what you think about this sort of record. I think personally, I think this is a pretty good way to start with the industry. Like, you've seen some of the old, some of the new, some commercial. Some of the drama and some of the comedy as well. I'm glad we had the comedies in between with Mukunda Nuni Associates and Nathan Keskoru, and Mahashinta itself has got a lot of comedy too, and Angabali, I guess, in a way. But there was a good mix, because if we had gone if it had become too much on the Joji end, it would have been like, all right, which is an incredible movie, but it's like,
I still would have been here for it. That's the thing. Exactly. Like, I don't care what a story is, so long as it is a good story, so long as it is told point A to point C to be a definitive story. And every single one of the films that we have seen was exactly that. Point A to point C to be a definitive story. And I defy many people, and 2023 notwithstanding being a kind of a weird year for Hollywood, and that the first major blockbusters we had this year were non-sequels. We had Barbie and Oppenheimer, and that was incredible, right? Like that was a huge kind of boon to the system. And now we've got Napoleon out there. So we do have quite a bit of better films that are coming out, but guess what? They're not successes. They're critically raved about, with the exception of Barbie. Barbie did extraordinarily well. But they're critically raved about, these, think pieces, the ones that would be more akin to what you do with a Malayalam cinema. And then they're at home VOD about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
The way that the culture and the people and the fans, because that's the other part of this I need to address. Yes. The fans of the cinema that have found us and talked to us about it have made me more aware of the culture. They have welcomed me with open arms. It's not that I discovered this. It's that these people saw me talking about it and embraced me and allowed me to play too.
Correct.
That has been unbelievable, sensational, and I thank every single one of you watching for having done that.
No, you guys have been a big part of our channel. I'm talking to you guys listening right now. It's been sensational. Like, all these movies, with, I don't know, maybe aside from maybe Drishyam 1, which I thought would be a good place to start just because of its commercial appeal to sort of I guess some familiar traits to Hollywood. I think Mahashinte would have been somewhere not to start, and then it just sort of worked its way in. But look, I think all of these have come in through basically suggestions, and basically coming through comments, coming through basically polls in some ways. LJP obviously was a whole themed month, but that was also there, and that was also driven by sort of some of the audience suggestions as well. So you guys are a big part of this journey, and we really appreciate it. It's just been absolutely fantastic discovering this, and I'm glad. And I think you did mention whether thought you would have jumped in. I had a suspicion because at the time when you started Drishyam, we were also very much like Sanya and myself, just really starting out. So you've been on the journey with us basically from the start. We had seen a handful of movies before then, but not many. But it just seemed like these guys are doing something different, and I think your curiosity to see something new and from a fresh perspective was something that I was like, okay, why don't we try this and see how it goes and see where it leads us. I didn't expect us to lead us down such a glorious path, in that we're seeing such glorious movies, like
just
on a weekly basis.
Spectacular films.
Essentially.
Spectacular films.
So, that's sort of how that came about. But I knew that you were definitely open-minded, and you'd be up for sort of this experience, because our channel is not really what I would call a review channel. We do deep dives and we like to discuss, and it's more an exploration piece for us, because we're not coming in and acting like experts, like we know the industry or we know everybody about it. So if people think that we haven't seen this movie from this time and that's what relates to this, we don't know, because we are exploring. We're cinema explorers, because like
exactly.
It's food.
Exactly.
It's what I do for entertainment. It's not just entertainment. It hits me like, at a different level when I see something, and like, there are scenes that play in my mind when I'm watching stuff, the same way it does for Mohanlal's character in Drishyam, which is another great starting point for what we had. The whole fact that he was just he owned a cinema or something like that, or he wanted to own a cinema, and he could just retell stories the same way through films that we can. perfect introduction. But yeah, man, was there anything else that you had to sort of wanted to mention about sort of the cinema? I guess what are your hopes to go forward with?
Outside of belaboring the point of just like what an extraordinary experience. You get to a certain age in life and you think maybe you're going to be stuck, right? Like a lot of the music that I listen to is still music that I listened to when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. You fear and you love simultaneously that you might be in a place where you're like, I'm good. I know what I need to know and I'm okay. But that can be the detriment to your own creation. And I'm a creative and Amit is a creative. And part of the genesis of that is seeing what other artists have done. And if you become closed-minded, then all of a sudden you stagnate and then you're no longer relevant to, let's just say, a conversation. Because I want to be able to go and have a conversation either online with any of you via the comment section or you, Amit, here online. Like we've never met face-to-face. You live in Australia. I live in America.
Yep.
But we talk to one another because we formed a relationship based around the fact that we appreciate things. And the fact that these fans appreciate us, you, anybody watching this, if you appreciate what we've done, it means the whole entire world. And it has kept us going. And it has been, as Amit just put it, and that's perfect, it has kept us being cinematic explorers. Just looking at the world through the lenses and perspectives of other people, other cultures, to see what they've done. And the commonality language, whether it be Hollywood or Bollywood or Malayalam cinema, is that when you make something truly extraordinary, and you can throw it out into the world, maybe only your direct sphere appreciates it. But occasionally, people outside of that direct sphere will appreciate it too. And I'm happy to be one of those that found this area and has been pulled into it, and I won't leave.
Yeah. No, it's been fantastic. It definitely has a language of its own, which we also appreciate. The fact that we can just jump in and understand and appreciate this and learn more about it over time. That's what I love sort of doing about this, like our understanding of the culture and understanding of how they, not just the culture, but I guess the culture around film as well as the culture around Kerala and life as well there, but how they approach film and storytelling, which is really what it's about. That's what we're there for. We're here for the stories. But anyway, this is going to be much more. 2024 is going to be an awesome year. So make sure to keep following us on the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more. Obviously, Doug's going to be on. We're going to have more people on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But once again, a sincere thank you to everyone that's listened to us, our conversations. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Thank you so much, guys.